Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Kilayim, Perek Daled Mishna He. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to speak about a vineyard, but a small vineyard. What's the smallest vineyard that is possible? We're going to see Machloket Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. If you have a vineyard of 5 vines, does it need to be in 1 row, or does it have to be 2 rows in order to be considered a vineyard? Now, what's the difference between a vine and a vineyard? There's a big difference. If you have 1 vine, right, and you want to plant next to it. So if you want to plant seeds next to it, you want wheat next to it, you need to distance 6 tefachim from that, right? That's 1 amah, 6 tefachim, 1 amah, and then you can go ahead and plant your grain, your wheat. But if you have a vineyard, then you need to distance 4 amot from the vineyard. So there's a big difference if we go ahead and call this, categorize it as a vine, or if we categorize it as a vineyard. So there's Machloket Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. If a person plants 1 row, it's 1 row of 5 vines, is that considered a row of vines, or is that a vineyard? The difference is, do you have to distance 6 tefachim or 4 amot? So if a person plants 1 row of 5 vines, Bet Shammai omrim kerem, Bet Shammai says this is considered a vineyard. Bet Hillel omrim, and you need to distance 4 amot from it. And Bet Hillel omrim eno kerem ad shiyu sham sheteh shurot. Bet Hillel says no, it's not considered a vineyard until there's 2 rows, right? So 5 vines in 1 row is not enough. You need to have at least 2 rows, right? So if I was reading this, I'd probably understand it most simply. You have 2 rows of 5. Though, if you look at next Mishnah and the following Mishnayot, you'll see that it doesn't necessarily have to be 2 rows of 5, even if it's 2 rows of 3, right? Or we'll even say 2 rows totaling 5, and we'll see what that scenario can be. But for now, let's just use it as 2 rows of 3 vines in each. That's considered a vineyard according to Bet Hillel. So if you have a picture over here, according to Bet Shammai on the left, 5 vines, one after the next in 1 row, that's considered a vineyard. You have to distance 4 amot from that. Bet Hillel say you need to have 2 rows, right? 2 rows. If you have, let's say, 3 in each row, that's the simplest case. That's when you need to distance, from that vineyard 4 amot. Now, based on this machloket, where Bet Shammai is mahmir and Bet Hillel is mekel, you'll have another ramification from it, and we'll see that there's the opposite. There will be a chumrah according to Bet Hillel. So let's see. Therefore, let's say someone plants within 4 amot of the vineyard. Person goes, he plants wheat within 4 amot close to his vineyard. So Bet Shammai omrim. Now we know if someone does this, it's oser the quote unquote the vineyard. So Bet Shammai omrim kidesh shura achat. It's mekadesh, meaning it's oser. It makes it asur behana'ah. Anytime we have the language of kidesh, right? Hanabam points out. It's the language of asur behana'ah, because it's the language of the pasuk. Pentikdash hamne'ah zera asher tizra utvuat akarem. Right? That's the language of the pasuk. So Bet Shammai says you sanctified, yani you made it asur behana'ah 1 row, because Bet Shammai said you made the vineyard 1 row asur behana'ah. Bet Hillel omrim kidesh sheteh shurot. Bet Hillel says no. According to Bet Hillel, a vineyard is 2 rows. So if someone planted near that vineyard, the outer 2 rows, the entire 2 rows are going to be asur, because we need to make the vineyard asur behana'ah, and that according to Bet Hillel is 2 rows. So you see the kulav Bet Hillel in the beginning, right? That they don't call a vineyard until don't categorize a vineyard and a vineyard until it's 2 rows. There's a chumrah link to it that if someone does plant next to it, it's oser 2 rows as opposed to just 1 according to Bet Shammai. Now, next Mishnah, we're going to discuss an option for there to be 2 rows of only 5 vines total according to Bet Hillel.